So let's start with that list of number system rules that I promised you at the outset. We'll start with the commutative property. The commutative property applies to both adding and multiplying. We're going to look at it now for adding. The commutative property says you can change the order in addition without changing the answer. You can change the order in addition without changing the answer. We can remember commutative by thinking of the fact that we're all commuters. If we come to the college from home, the distance from home to the college is the same as the distance from the college back home. It doesn't matter which direction we go. The order of our operation, the order of our terms in the operation can be changed without changing the answer. Writing this just using letters, variables, to indicate the commutative property, we say A plus B is equal to B plus A. A plus B is equal to B plus A. So that, for instance, we might use, what should we use? 3 plus 2, 2 plus 3. What's the answer? Well, 3 plus 2 is 5, 2 plus 3 is 5. The answer is the same regardless of which one is written first. You can change the order in addition without changing the answer. The next rule allows us to change grouping. It's called the associative property. The associative property can be applied to addition or to multiplication. We're going to start by applying it to addition. Let me slide this over a bit. And it says you can change the grouping in addition without changing the answer. You can change the grouping in addition without changing the answer. We can remember this name associative by thinking about an association. I belong to the Mathematical Association of America. It is a group of mathematicians, people interested in the same kind of thing. Associative group. You can change the grouping in addition without changing the answer. We have no need to group things unless there are more than 2 of them. So the associative property describes grouping 3 or more. A plus B plus C, we can put parentheses around the A and B so that that's done first, or we can put parentheses around the B and C so that that's done first. Five, 2, and 8. If we add 5 plus 2 in parentheses, then add 8, the associative property says we'll get the same thing if we add 5, then in parentheses 2 plus 8. 5 plus 2 is 7, and so the left-hand side is 7 plus 8. 2 plus 8 is 10, and so the right-hand side is 5 plus 10. 7 plus 8, 5 plus 10. Notice they're quite different. No numbers match. However, the answer in each case is 15. Changing the grouping does not change the answer. The third number system rule that we'll look at is called the distributive property. The distributive property says a factor may be multiplied by each term within parentheses. A factor may be multiplied by each term within parentheses. Factor is a multiplier. A factor may be multiplied by each term. The terms are add-ins. A factor may be multiplied by each term within parentheses. Symbolically, we write the distributive property as A times the parentheses expression B plus C. The factor A may be multiplied by each term within the parentheses. That is, we can multiply A times B, and then multiply A times C, and get AB plus AC. Looking at a numerical example, let's take 3 times 6 plus 7. The distributive property says that the 3 can be multiplied by 6, and the 3 can be multiplied by 7 with those products added together. 3 times 6 plus 3 times 7. Let's simplify both sides of this expression. On the left, we have multiplying and an expression in parentheses. Working in parentheses first, we get 13. And so we have 3 times 13. On the right-hand side, however, we have multiplying, adding, and multiplying. We multiply first to get 18 plus 21. Notice how different these expressions are. No numbers match. One is multiplying, the other is adding. However, when we multiply 3 times 13, we get 39. When we add 18 and 21, we also get 39. And so we have two different ways of working the same problem. The distributive property can be written in more than one way. We have it written as A times expression B plus C is equal to AB plus AC. We can write it as B plus C times A is equal to BA plus CA. Notice that the A is coming in from the right-hand side. So that we get BA plus CA. We can also write this same equation backward, putting the BA plus CA first, and then B plus C times A last. There are other variations on this same thing. But let's revisit the problem with the roses and the tulips and take a look at how these properties apply. Remember, we had 8R plus 5T, subtract 3R plus 2T. The properties that I've shown you apply to adding, or in the case of the distributive property, adding and multiplying. That means that we need to have each thing written in terms of adding. Everything is add except for the subtract, so let's rewrite the subtract 3R as add the opposite of 3R. Then we have just adding. We'd like to rearrange things so that the 8R and negative 3R are together, the 5T and 2T are together. And we can do so by switching the order of the two terms in the middle. If we switch the 5T and the negative 3R, switch these two, we get the negative 3R plus 5T. This uses the commutative property. Let me abbreviate commutative property here. We switch the order. Then we would like to group together the terms involving the same letter, the like terms, and so we put parentheses around the two terms that have R, another set of parentheses around the two terms that have T. This is a change in grouping, and so this is the associative property. I'll abbreviate associative property. Then we write the R factor by itself outside the parentheses and the T factor by itself outside the parentheses. This uses the distributive property. I'll abbreviate distributive. Finally, the result is just simplifying. Adding 8 and negative 3, adding 5 and 2. And so you see the three rules that we've looked at, the commutative, the associative, and the distributive properties at work here.